So as you've heard, the process for running paid ads through Command has changed drastically. So there's quite a few things that you all need to know, especially if you've been running ads before. There's some important steps you need to take. But I'll do this training as if you've never done ads before. So anyone who's never done it, you're getting the full introduction to the process, okay? It is a lot, so if you do have any questions, just stop me as I'm going. It might be something we're going to cover, but if you have questions about what I'm talking about, just interrupt me and let me know. So yeah, has anyone used the new paid ad experience yet? No?
I have.
You have?
Morning.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Welcome.
Has everyone run ads before the experience changed? No? Yes.
I have, and I also tried doing the new paid ad, but my listings weren't showing up, or our listings from our office.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
so,
look at that.
yeah, okay, great.
Perfect. All right. So first thing, if you've done ads before, that you need to know is that you do still need to reconnect your Facebook and your billing information, even if it was connected prior. Now, this used to be in your settings section of Command. It is now built into the campaigns portion of Command. So we're going to go directly to campaigns, which is the little megaphone icon on the left-hand side. And then we're going to click on Create Campaign at the top right, and then choose Paid Ad. Okay. This is going to bring you into the new platform. It kind of takes you out of Command, so it's going to redirect you to a different interface altogether. Okay, so this is what you're going to see when you first click to create a campaign. And to connect your Facebook pages, or page, you're going to click on Facebook pages right here on the left-hand side. So you'll likely have no pages connected here yet. So you're going to have to click Link a Facebook page. We'll say Start here. You're going to click Continue with Facebook. It's going to redirect you to Facebook. Now, you do need to have a Facebook business page in order to run ads, but it's going to connect to your personal account. So it's saying that it's connecting me to Jessica Dort. You're not going to see your page name here yet. Once you hit connect, it's going to put you through a couple of different steps to choose the business manager of your page and then choose the actual page that you want to connect if you do have multiple. I'm sure most of you have maybe one, maybe two, but if you do have a lot of pages, you will need to sort of connect them one by one if you're adding those. Okay.
So Jessica, just a quick question.
Yeah.
You had said there that we need to connect to our personal one and then go to our business one from there?
Correct. So when you do the connect to Facebook, it's going to bring you here and it's going to say connect your name to campaigns. Okay. This throws people off. They're like, no, I want to connect to my business page. But as soon as you hit next, it's going to then give you a list of your pages.
Okay, so what happens if we didn't do that and we logged into another account?
You would need to open a new tab, make sure you're logged into your Facebook account, and then go back to campaigns and start it again. And it should bring you into your Facebook account.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Now it's not going to show me the steps because I have already connected. It's really just selecting like a bullet point list of pages and you're choosing the page you want to connect. I do have a video that goes through how to connect your pages, so I will send that out in case you get stuck afterwards. But just know it's going to say connect here for the first time, not reconnect like my page shows. Okay. So I click got it. So once you do select your page, it's going to bring you back to Command in here, and you're going to get a list of the pages that you had given it access to. So I would select the page that I want to connect to my campaigns and click select. Again, if you are connecting multiple pages for whatever reason, You can only do one. It won't let you select multiple in that bullet point list. Okay. Once you choose that page, as long as you see all of this very, very beautiful green, then you are good to go. If you see any red, we have an issue. So it will tell you, like, each of these are their own sort of requirement. So if the Facebook lead form terms of service is red, it's going to have a link there to go and accept the terms of service. If you get stuck and you do have any red errors here, send me an email, take a picture or a screenshot of the error that you're getting so that I can see what it is. And then I have specific instructions to fit each one. Okay. Ideally, you will just connect it and it will work. That would be perfect. So
I will just note, I don't know if anybody else has a team, but for me, I couldn't connect. I had to get the person that created the account, the team account, to connect, and then it worked. So it was all red and I couldn't figure it out. So I don't know if anybody else had the issues, but you didn't mention it. So I thought I would just jump in.
yeah, that is an important note, especially for any administrators of teams. It might be, like in your case, it was probably Angela who created the Facebook page. If you're not set as like the admin in all of the different, Facebook has like 20 different places you have to be set as
I
an
was
admin.
the admin, but it had to be the person that created the actual account, which was weird because in the last one I could connect it. So I don't know why, but it had to be the person that actually physically created the account.
Okay, good to know. So yes, if you run into that, make sure you're connecting to the actual owner of the page, their Facebook one. If you create a page, then that's easy for you. Okay. So that's connecting your Facebook page. Once you've done that, there's one more step, and that's putting your billing information into this. So to do that, you're going to see a little person icon at the very, very top right. You're going to click on My Account. And then you're going to see billing details. Okay, you're going to click Add New Card over here, fill in your card information, the card number, all that info, and click Add New Card. Okay, it's also going to pop up and ask for your postal code, so make sure you're filling that in. If you're clicking Add New Card and it's not saving, it's probably you're missing a field there. Once you click Add New Card, you will see the card information appear over on the left-hand side under Manage Credit Cards. That's how you know your card has been successfully added. Okay. Any questions so far? Connecting Facebook, connecting billing details? No? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to the dashboard page, which is the page that we started on. And you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 different types of ads, 13 if you are on a team. Okay, it's very different than before. You used to just create an ad, choose your goal, and then you would change settings as you're going through it. Now it's making you be a little bit more intentional with the type of ad you're running, and you have to choose it from the beginning. So a really important thing to note here is some of them have a blue bubble under it, the first 4, and the rest have a yellow bubble. These are 2 different types of ads. So when you see includes Facebook lead form, this is, if you're familiar with running ads before, when you would select to use the Facebook lead generation form, which means you run your ad for your listing, someone clicks on it, and it pops up within Facebook asking them to fill in their name, email, and phone number in order to go to whatever page you're advertising. These are lead capture ads. So this is going to capture the person's information prior to them going to your website or wherever you're sending them. If you want to be automatically capturing leads and have them come into command, get a notification that you have a new lead, you need to use the Facebook lead form option. So one of these first 4. Okay. The other one, the yellow one, is the traffic ads. So this is not going to force them to fill out their info. You would, put a page up about a listing or an ad up about a listing, they click it, and it just takes them to wherever you're sending them, your website, your landing page. And it doesn't force them to fill in any info. It's also not going to generate any lead for that reason. So you would need to have a way for them to fill in their info on that website or that page that you're sending them to. Okay, if you're using your KW's website and you send them directly to a listing, it's going to have a contact form on there. Okay, but it's not going to force them to fill it out. So that's the important thing to know. So if you're running ads and you're finding you're not getting any leads, make sure you are using one of the Facebook lead form options. Okay. The other ones are just driving traffic to whatever source you're advertising. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Perfect. So let me just make sure. A couple of notes here of the important things I want to mention. All right, so another important thing to know, you'll see here on these first four, which we're going to focus on right now. You have Facebook and Instagram showing up, but we've only connected our Facebook page. You don't need to have Instagram anymore to run an ad on Instagram. So if you're not an Instagram user, it's fine. Your ad's going to run on Instagram anyways. It's still just directing them to fill in their info. The info is going to come to command. So you don't need to be using Instagram to run your ads on Instagram. You also have no choice. It's going to automatically run your ad on Facebook and Instagram at the same time.
Can we drive it to Instagram though? Like
It will
or
go
is-
to Instagram by default.
Okay, so we
So
don't
when you
need
run
to
one of
connect?
these- No. Yeah. Like I said, you don't even need to have an Instagram account. Facebook owns Instagram, so they're just pushing your ad to Instagram. Okay. So it's not going to be, the Instagram ad is not going to be linked to your Instagram profile in any way, like how Facebook is linked to your Facebook page. It's a little bit different. It's going to link to the form that they fill out and then to your website or wherever you're sending them. Okay. And like I said, you can't choose where it's running. It's going to run it on both, and you set your budget. Let's say you put $20 on, it's going to split it up depending on what's working. So if your ad's getting a lot of traction on Facebook and not a lot on Instagram, it's probably going to put only a little bit towards Instagram in the following days and not as much and more to Facebook. So it uses the algorithm to figure out what is working and pushing more of your budget towards that. Okay. Same thing for the attract sellers, attract buyers, and recruit agents and branding. These again are those traffic ads. So they're still running on Facebook and Instagram. It's just they're going to click it and it's going to go to their website. There's a few other ad types that we're not going to dive into, but it's important to know what they are and what the purpose is. So the next two are attract sellers and attract buyers, but you'll see they're not for Facebook and Instagram, they're for Google. These are Google search ads. So if I switch over to here, when you Google something, you typically, the first 3 or 4 are going to be sponsored. Okay, so we have Halifax area home values, Halifax listings, and then at the bottom, there'll be some sponsored ones as well. That is the type of ad you're running. If you do choose to run a Google search ad, you don't add any photos, you're just adding text. But what's important to know about that is that it is a monthly recurring subscription. The minimum spend is $250 US per month. It is a big investment. And we've been told that it is not something you do for a month and stop. You need to be committing to go like 6 months plus to see any results from it.
Do you have any
takes time
stats on
for-
what the return is on it?
That I don't know because it has existed for 10 days or however long since this
Okay,
came out. So
fair
these
enough.
weren't an option before. I'm sure there are stats for Google search ads in general from Google. I don't have them from Command. They do, I mean, it's a way to get into Google search results without spending a ton of money on optimizing your website to show up in Google search results, right? So again, that is a big, big investment. You need to be committing to multiple months of doing that with possibly no return for the first few, because it does take time for Google to gather that information of who is clicking on your ad and tailor it to, send it to the right people. All right, then we have 3 more here that are, again, we have listing, attract sellers, attract buyers, but these are all channels. So the 3 channels are Facebook, Instagram, and then we have Google again, but this is a different type of Google ad. These are Google Display Network ads. That is, let me open this tab on Global News. See this advertisement? Oh, when it loads. There's a banner at the top, and there's a banner on the side. It might load. These ads. These are Google Display Network ads. So if you want to show up on any website that uses Google Ads, a lot of them do. Anytime you go to a website and you see these banner ads, it's a Google Display Network ad. Okay, I remove this ad. So that's what this little arrow looking icon means. Okay, so that's going to split up your budget amongst those 3 channels.
Jess,
Very
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
add a little something here. Now, it may have changed, but when I was doing digital media marketing, the Google Display Network ads are usually, unless somebody is particularly picked, they only want to show up in certain networks, certain channels, then if you don't choose that, then you get what's called remnant, which means you could pop up anywhere, which actually in real estate is a good thing because everybody wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, potentially. So it actually keeps the costs a little bit lower than doing the sponsored ads. You just don't have as much control over where it lands. So if you have a moral or ethical issue with being on a particular network or site, you'd have to exclude them. Like, for example, gambling just became a big thing on apps, etc., and online gambling. So you may end up on online gambling sites. And if you have a real moral issue with that, then you'd want to indicate that potentially you wouldn't want to be there. I just don't know how it works anymore, if you can just exclude or if you just kind of take what's given.
Yeah. So those ones, again, like Sherry said, they get a little more complicated. They can't really control where it's showing up too much. So that's not what we're going to dive into today. That's a whole separate training, I feel, on the Google Display Network. But yeah, that's something to consider for sure. The last one here, you're only going to see it if you're on a team, and that is dynamic ads for real estate. And I've spoken to Anne, and please don't use them. Do not touch them. Okay. When you do a dynamic ad, it is advertising listings, and you cannot choose what listings it's advertising. It is pulling random listings from the MLS.
So
We all know we cannot advertise other people's listings without permission, and you can't control what listings are showing up.
So that would get us hauled before the board fairly quickly.
Correct.
Pass.
Yeah. So just don't touch. Don't look at these ones. It would be really nice. When I heard that these are coming out, I assumed that it would be like, all of my listings, my office listings or my team listings, but it does not. You choose where it's being sent to. You choose your caption, and it just runs the ad with listings. Okay. So, I was asked by Anne to say that. And I will be sending an email to all the teams to not touch that ad option. Okay. If you're on a team, you'll still have all the other options. With the other listings, you can choose the specific listings. Okay. No one wants to be, like Colin said, before the board. So, all right. Are we all clear on the types of ads? When to use them? Okay. So we're gonna start simple, and we're gonna do a listing ad. For a listing, you now have 2 options: a listing with a single image, or a listing with multiple images, or a multi-listing. You have 3 options. So if you're advertising one single listing, you can do it with 1 photo or have a carousel of photos. So those are your 2 options here. Or, if you have multiple listings at the same time, you could do one ad that has a carousel of your different listings. And good if you have a lot of listings, or if you are a team that wants to advertise all of your team listings. Okay. So I'm going to choose a listing multi-image carousel. So I want to put multiple images, and I want the lead form. So I want to collect leads. Okay, so my Facebook page is already connected here. I just selected the default page, but if you have multiple pages, you can choose which one that's running on. Then because we chose a listing, we're going to add our listing, and it's pulling this from the MLS. So I'm going to click please add your listings. And this is where you're going to search for your listing. Important thing is you have to choose the column to filter on. Otherwise, you're not going to get any results. So an easy one would be address or listing agent. If you do address, you're just searching the address of your listing. If you're doing listing agent, you would search the listing agent. So Michelle, I'll test this for Wayne since you said you could find. Takes a second to load them up. All right. And the listings are active, Michelle? That's very strange. Does anyone else have a listing?
had
they want to use?
Does it make any
Well-
difference does it make any difference, Jess, that you're in the Kentville office there?
No, the page wouldn't have changed that. This should be pulling from all of the MLS listings. Michelle, we'll look into yours specifically and see why that's not happening.
We can do mine again, Jess.
Sure.
5390, 5392. So 5390, 5392, Highway 207. So Sherry.
See if that comes up. You will notice this is going to pop up. You have unsaved changes. Would you like to discard them? You just have to click OK. For some reason, Google's detecting that you're leaving the site, but even if you're not.
And those numbers might be reversed. It might be 5392, 5390. Oh, there it is.
If you have it listed in multiple types, so this listing is single family and a duplex, it's going to come up twice. You need to choose which one you want to be featured if they're different. Okay, so I'll do the single family one. I'm going to select that in the list and hit done. And so now it has added that listing. You're going to see a preview start to form over here on the right. We will narrow that down a little bit more. Next is your targeting. So you have two options. You can target the listing location or a custom location. I'll always err on the side of use a custom location, especially in little Nova Scotia. They might not recognize Seaforth as a location. Right? It's a little specific. So it's better to just do custom location and type it in just to make sure it's going to the right place. Okay. Something that has changed with the new experience versus the old experience. Let's say I wanted to run this ad in Halifax, but I also want to run it in Toronto because I get a lot of out of province buyers. I would need to run my ad in Halifax, duplicate it, and run my ad in Toronto. Now you can choose up to 10 locations for your one ad. So I could run it in Halifax, I can run it in Toronto, I can run it in Vancouver. Anywhere that you know there's a good influx of people coming from, you could run this ad in. Just know
That's
the
really
more,
cool.
yeah, the more locations you put, the more your budget's split up. So just keep that in mind. If you're only doing a $10 ad and you put 10 locations, you're only getting a tiny bit in each spot. So you may have to increase your budget if you're running that large of a scale ad. Okay. So I'm going to do Halifax. And I could do Toronto. You can do anywhere in the world, by the way. So if you have a property that might entice people from Germany, Europe, anywhere like that, you can do that as well.
Huge
can
time
just-
saver. That's a huge time saver for us.
Yeah.
If you want to send the same message to the same location, like different locations.
For sure. Then you have your radius. So how far out from that specific location do you want the ad to run? It's in miles, so just keep that in mind. The max is 50 miles, minimum is 15 miles. So think of like a circle around your location. That's your radius. Okay, next is the text. This is where it gets a little fun. So you can see here it says it's already filled in a description, which was nice. You used to have to just think of it from scratch. Check out my new listing in city, just listed at price. So these two fields you're seeing are called merge fields. If you use Smart Plans, you'll be familiar with them. And what they do is they are going to pull the information from the listing itself. Okay. For a single listing, it's not as useful. The only thing that would be useful is if you were putting the price in here. What's nice is because it's automatically pulling the price, if your price changes 5 days into the ad, it's going to update the price in the ad without you having to go and change the ad. This is more helpful if you're doing that multi-listing. As they scroll through the carousel of 123 Main Street, 456 Main Street, 789 Main Street, it's going to populate the individual information for each of those listings. Okay. I also don't recommend putting the price in the ad anyways. So as cool as it is, I wouldn't recommend that. We don't recommend putting anything in the ad that is going to stop someone from clicking on it. So if you think of those non-negotiable items like price, if something's out of someone's budget, they're not going to buy it. Number of bedrooms, if it only has 3 bedrooms and they need 5, they're definitely not going to buy it. They're going to keep scrolling. You want to stop the scroll. You want them to be interested. You want them to click on the ad and give them your info and then find out it doesn't work for them. Then you already have the lead. You can still help them find that 5-bedroom house that they need, even though this particular one that they clicked on wasn't the right fit. But if you straight up say, look at this 3-bedroom house, they're not even going to click it. They're just going to keep scrolling. They know it doesn't work. Okay, so just have that mindset when you're putting information in here. You want to highlight the really good features of the house, but don't put anything in that's going to exclude someone from being interested in it. Okay. There's lots of different tags you can put here. We have emojis as well. So if you click the little smiley face, you have all of your different emojis. Always put emojis. There's like a ton of stats that show that people are going to click on it a lot more if there's emojis. It's just more engaging. It's more exciting looking, more fun. So you can actually search for emojis. So you could search a house, put that in. If it was on the water, you might put a water emoji. Yeah, get creative with it. And then you have this little magic wand. This one's really fun. When I click on the magic wand, it is going to use AI to write your caption. So this is brand new. So I can click suggest with AI, and it is going to generate a suggested description. Now we only have 255 characters, and the AI is just going to generate. So it may end in the middle of a sentence. So as you'll hear in any training you do about ChatGPT or any AI, is you never want to just take it as it is. Always read through it, make sure it makes sense, make sure the wording's right. Take out that 4 beds, 4 baths. Like that. Again, you have emojis here. You can change the style as well. So there's artistic, there's practical, vibrant, caring, and emotional, depending on the type of ad you're running. So if I choose artistic, it's just going to change the wording a little bit. Okay. If I make it practical, it's going to talk more about like the actual features in the house that make it practical. You'll notice here it's like cutting off at the end of each line. It's not going to cut off when it saves. It's just the way that this looks. So don't stress too much about that. And you can just keep hitting right again until you like it. And you may not use it as is, but at least it gives you a starting point if you can't think of what to say. Okay, so I'm gonna hit apply. And I'll add my emoji. Okay, so that's the body text. So that's what shows up here just above the image in the ad. Then we have our headline. So that is what you're seeing where the address is here. You can leave the address there. You can also use the AI tool to write a headline. And the big difference you're going to see here versus if you've run ads before is you used to have 25 characters for your headline. You now have 125. So you can actually write a coherent sentence in this spot instead of a 3-word sentence.
Love that so much.
Yeah. Again, price there. So I'll leave that. And so now it gives me a little bit more of a headline. Don't put a story there. You don't want to fill all 125 characters because that's just too much writing. People aren't going to read it. And speaking with Anne, this is a compliance plug. If your page, so the name of your page does not indicate Keller Williams Select Realty. So if your page was, picking on you, Jen Demings Realtor, and it doesn't indicate Keller Williams anywhere there, you do need to indicate it somewhere on the ad. So when someone scrolls through, it is obvious it is listed with Keller Williams. So it might be the last sentence in your description. You might put it in the headline. It needs to be somewhere. But if you have, you know, Jen Demings Realtor, Keller Williams Select Realty as your page name, you don't need to add it again.
And just quick question. When you're talking here, Keller Williams Select Realty, if we're a member of a team, do we not also have to include the team name in there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, good point. Those are good uses of the headline too, so it's not your main content, but it does give you that compliance down here. You also need the MLS number. So you gotta fit that in too. So just take that into consideration when you're writing your caption and your headline, that you're able to fit the brokerage name and the MLS number within your allowed characters. Okay. Any questions about any of that? No? Right. Next is your photos. So this has pulled the first 5 photos from MLS. Okay. You can change them up to image 20 for some reason. So you have up to the first 20 images pulling from the MLS. So if you have 50 images, you're probably going to need to custom upload some if they're not showing up. Okay, so if you had an image that you wanted to add as the first image and it was number 35 on MLS, you're just going to click upload custom image and then you can upload it here. Okay, it's nice and convenient if all the images that show are the ones that you want, but just know you can change them. Just change that. Another thing with this, so we have 5 images, maybe there's only 4 you want to put on here. There's no delete button. You can't just delete one of these. You're going to click upload custom image and then do nothing. Just don't upload an image. It clears that MLS image out and it doesn't add one. So now my carousel, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
That actually answers my question. I was looking at those thumbnails going, wow, I need an interpreter to see these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're so tiny, but I guess if you can go through that, then you can kind of see where they are.
Yeah. And if you know,
And
like
what
on your
they are.
listing, it's going to match the order that MLS gives. So open a new tab with your listing open and know which number photo it is. And then it'll be easier to select it from here. Okay. Also, you can't rearrange these. So once you have image 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in there, you can't like drag them around. And you can't change the image or the order. Facebook is going to choose the order. So what you choose as image 1 may show up as image 4 for someone who's scrolling through. It's going to use the algorithm to see which photo is the one that people are clicking. So if people scroll through and they're like, wow, I love that backyard, and they click the ad at that moment, Facebook now knows that that's the image that are stopping the scroll and making someone click on it. So now they're probably going to show that image first to the next person. So no matter what order you choose here, it's going to be different for people actually seeing it. Okay. Any questions about photos? Good there. Then we have post lead submission destination. So this is where is it sending them? So they click this ad, they like it, they're going to fill in their name, email, and phone number and submit it. You need to send them somewhere and give them the info that you're promising. Typically, that's going to be the page on your website with that listing. Highly recommend that's the route you go versus realtor.ca. It keeps the leads in your pocket. Okay. Does everyone know why I say that? Use your own website versus realtor.ca viewpoint. Yeah. Okay. If you were to send someone to realtor.ca to look at this listing and they're like, nah, doesn't work, and they go search other listings and they like another listing, that lead's going to that listing agent. Because realtor.ca is always going to send the lead to the listing agent. If you link it to this listing on your website and they're like, don't like it, and they go look at other listings, all the leads go to you if they're still on your website, regardless of if it's your listing or not. It's coming into you as a buyer lead. So you want to keep them within your database and not give out free leads to other agents, as nice as that is. Okay. So I would open my website. It will load here. 7. I'm going to find that listing on my website. See, we're still compliant. It says that the listing is courtesy of Sherry. But if someone clicks ask your agent or request a tour, it's going to you. Right. Obviously, you're only advertising your own listing. So if they land on the listing and they like it, it's going to you. But if they go up here and they search Halifax and they look at another listing, it's still going to you. So I'm going to copy this link up here. And back in my ad, I'm going to paste that link. So they click on it, they fill in their info, and it brings them to this page on my site showing all the details of that listing. Okay. Then we have lead settings. So this is where you're getting into, if you're on a team, you have lead routes. So if you're routing that lead to a specific team member, if you're an individual agent, you'll only see tags and smart plans as your options here. So tags are going to automatically add a tag to any lead you get from this ad. I highly recommend it for your own sanity that somehow in your database, you're able to narrow down who came from a specific ad. So I might have a tag 5390 Highway 207 Facebook lead. If I don't have the tag created, I can create the tag right here. Maybe not. Maybe create the tag for just in case. If your tag's already created, it's going to pop up here. So a few little glitches. Always good to prepare and have your tag made. So now when I go in my database, I can filter by this tag and see everyone who came from this ad. Another thing I highly recommend is having a follow-up smart plan in place prior to running your ad. So I could do my Facebook new lead follow-up. This means someone's going to click on the ad, they fill in their info, they show up in my database, and they're getting an email from me or a text from me or whatever I've set up in this follow-up smart plan. Okay. Smart plans are a lot. They're really, really great once you get used to them. But I always say, don't get too overwhelmed with creating like a 6-month follow-up plan if it's your first time. Write one email in a smart plan. The one email you would be sending to them anyways. Hey, saw you clicked on my ad. Is there anything I can help you with? Are you interested in that property? Blah, blah, blah. At least have one touch going to them automatically. So you're not sitting here, you know, with 40, 50 leads, ideally, having to text, email all of them who may not answer. Right?
Just-
At least then you send that out. Yeah.
Yeah, for anybody that's new as well, and I've done this, you can actually go into the Smart Plan library and grab something that's got text contacts and things like that, edit it slightly, rename it, and use it.
Yeah.
I've-
There's a
I've
whole
stolen-
librate of pre-built smart plans that you can use
I've
as well.
stolen a couple of Smart Plans like that and just edited them slightly and renamed them.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel. All of the smart plans that you could think of probably exist already. And so
Yep.
you can use it, tweak it, make it relevant, and use that. So that's a whole different class. I think I'm doing that in 2 weeks from now. We're doing the smart plans class, so tune into that for sure. And then compliance at the bottom, you have the DBA logo. So in your marketing profile, there is a Market Center logo field. You need to have that uploaded, and that's what's going to show up. So that shows up if someone clicks it and the lead form pops up where they're going to fill in their name and all their info. The office logo is going to show up there. Okay. You can also do custom. This is nice if maybe you have your own logo. You would need to create one logo that has KW Select and your logo side by side. And then you could upload that. So on your lead form, it has both. If you don't have your own logo, just use the default and make sure you have yours uploaded. And then you have the ownership statement. So this is another compliance thing. When you click include, it's going to show up here. This is the KW one. I did talk to Anne. She said you should have the not intended to solicit anyone currently under contract in this compliance hoopla. So my
Can
final.
that be added to it? So we can just click include and not have to remember that?
That's what I was just gonna ask too.
I don't think
Get out of my
so.
brain, Janice.
I believe I'd have to check. I think in the marketing profile, when you have your compliance piece of text there, that should pull in, I would think, but I don't know. So you may need to add it. And there's only 50 characters, so you kind of have to take this out and put that one in.
Oh,
I think that one's more
interesting.
important for our local compliance. I'll get clarification on that if it will pull what you save in your profile.
Yeah.
One very big important note, especially if you ran ads before, you'll notice there's a button missing that says save as draft. You can no longer save as draft. Okay, you can no longer prep it ahead of time and save it and post it later. You're running through
We can't
this.
schedule it?
You can schedule the day it goes out for sure. That's in the next step. But you can't set it up and then just save it and use it later. You need to commit to posting it now, whether you schedule it on a specific day or you post it today.
And if we schedule it and then that schedule needs to change, are we able to change it or no?
Yeah, you can edit it.
Okay.
Okay. So very important to remember. If you don't have your tag set up, if you don't have your smart plan set up, you won't be able to just save it, go to make your smart plan, come back and add it. Okay. So do all your prep work beforehand, have your photos ready, have your tag created, make sure your smart plan's ready to go before you come in and start building the ad. It would really suck to go through this whole process and not be able to post it because you now have to cancel it. Okay. If you run into that issue, my best suggestion is to at least come up to your captions that you spent a lot of time on copy and paste them into like a draft email so you have them. So if you do need to cancel it and go back in, you can just copy and paste it back in. And you don't have to redo all that. Everything else is pretty quick. You're just choosing the listing, the location, pasting a link, and adding your smart plan. But this is probably what you're spending the most time on. So at least save that.
Jess, do you know why they took the draft?
I do
button
not.
out? It's too bad.
Feedback has been submitted. So yeah, that's what I can say about that. So this is just the first release. This is brand new. They're taking a ton of feedback and they're going to continue to update like they've always done with Command. We'll always see little updates and things changing and things getting better. So they're going to get a ton of feedback about this new process, and then they will make updates accordingly. So fingers crossed. I'm sure a ton of people are missing it. I know I've had that comment a lot from people that Save as Draft was really, really nice because you could prep things ahead of time. Right. So I'm going to click proceed to last step. Now this is where you're going to choose how long you want the ad to run. So your start date and your end date. It does say once you publish, it can take up to 24 hours to launch. So what this does is as soon as you publish it, it's going to go through Facebook's compliance, essentially making sure it meets their advertising guidelines. That's not new. It's always been like that. You publish the ad and it will say pending. Okay. Previously, let's say I posted it now. It's pending, and then in 2 hours it says approved, starts tomorrow. Because it's always going to start the next day at midnight. Now, if this gets approved by Facebook 2 hours from now, it's running 2 hours from now. You can see my start date, I can actually set as today. Now that doesn't mean it will, because it does say up to 24 hours. Sometimes Facebook's a little slow. But there's a chance this could get posted immediately once approved.
Do they adjust that time if they do that? If you want to start today, but it takes 24 hours, do they push your end date, or does your end date stay the same?
I think your end date stays the same, just because there might be specific reasons why you don't want to run the ad past that day. So I would say it's just going to take your budget, whatever it is, and spread it amongst the 9 days instead of 10.
Okay.
Then you have your budget. So as you adjust the budget, you'll see your daily spend is going to change because it's taking this amount and dividing it by the number of days that your ad is running. Same as before. The only difference here is that before the minimum spend was $1 a day and now it is $2 a day. So if you're running it for 10 days, your ad is minimum $20 US. Okay, they just adjusted that based on results, essentially. Okay. Also make a note that this is in US dollars. It at least says it now. It didn't used to be so obvious. It now says that it's in US dollars. So keep exchange rates in mind. Then we have billing. I didn't have my card number added, so it's asking me to fill it in here before I can add anything or post anything. If your card is here, if you've had multiple cards, it will get you to select which card you want to charge it to. Then we have promotional code. The only time you're going to use this, so this will be a very limited number of people. Previously, in the old experience, if you paused an ad, you would get the remainder of your budget back as a credit. If you had any credits prior to this whole new change in experience, you would have gotten an email with a promotional code to redeem your credits that you had. So if you had $50 in credits when they switched the whole ad process, you would have a promotional code for $50. And so you would put that code in here. They're not going to be sending out promo codes as far as I know, unfortunately. So when you see that, there is no promo codes unless you've received an email with one. Okay. I used to click Save as Draft to show you what it happens, but I can't do that anymore. And I'm not going to buy this ad. Sorry, Sherry. So I'm just going to hit back, which is going to take me, actually, I'll hit dashboard. We'll go back to there. So once you post your ad, you're gonna see it in one of these sections over here, depending on the type of ad you ran. So I did a listing, so it would show up under listings. And you're gonna go to your programs. So this is where you're gonna see all of your ads for that type of ad. You'll get your impressions, you'll see your leads, same as before. This is where it's all gonna show up with your metrics. Another important thing you will notice is you no longer have to pause an ad, you can cancel an ad. You can stop it from running. Okay, you no longer get credits, you get a refund, which is great. You lose 10% of your spend as a administrative fee for canceling your ad. Just keep that in mind.
So that would encourage me to do smaller ads. Because if 10% is a big difference between a $500 ad campaign and a $100 ad campaign.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So because they have to like go into the system and pull it out of Facebook, and there's some processing things, and there's credit card processing fees to process refunds, 10% of that ad spend is coming off of it. So if you had $100 remaining, you're gonna lose $10 when you get that refund. But it's back on your card and not in the credits for your next ad. You at least get the money back.
So that's 10% of the balance left, Jess?
As far as I know, I would need to clarify that.
Yeah,
Let
because
me see.
it's a big difference between 10% of original purchase price and 10% of balance.
Right.
Point one.
Let me see.
So we'll be running smaller ads or shorter ads? And just renewing them more often, maybe.
I like how both your minds are working on this.
It is the
Awesome.
total purchase amount. So let me just,
So,
let me move this
sure,
over.
so I would say, Janice, would probably shorter with a smaller amount.
Right, because then if you get an accepted offer, then you don't have to worry about canceling the ad on like you said, Sherry, a $500 ad versus a $50 ad for 4 or 5 days versus 500 for 10 days.
Right.
Big difference.
So just looking here at the confirmation, it said purchase amount was $40, amount spent was $10, spend remaining was $30, but the processing fee was $4. So that's 10% of 40.
So that's a huge difference in effective dollars.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It also says here it will take up to 24 hours for that ad to fully stop once you cancel it. So it may still be seen for another few hours after you hit cancel. So just keep that in mind. Another big difference is you can now edit your ads. So that's on the positive side. If you ran an ad before and you needed to make a change like in the wording or the photos, you would need to pause it. You wouldn't get that money back till you have a credit, till that ad ends. And then you have to rerun the ad, essentially, because you can't edit an active ad. Now you can. So now you can go in and change a photo, change description, anything like that. To my knowledge, you'll also be able to change like what smart plan or what tag. The only thing you can't change that I know of is the page it's running on. So if you have 2 different pages and you run an ad on one and it's supposed to be the other, you can't change that. It's still going to run on that same page.
Okay, so where do we find that? Because I know I have 2 running. I had actually 1 running right now, and wondering how to duplicate and how to edit. I know where I can see it, but I don't know how to duplicate or edit it. There isn't, I couldn't see a spot there.
May not be able to duplicate. I'll need to check on that. I don't see an option for that.
Yeah, I don't think you can duplicate. I was trying to figure it out, and then I asked in the other meeting, and I don't think you can duplicate anymore.
Okay. So duplicate and save as draft, I guess, have gone away. So I will make a note of that because I think that's an important one. If you're going to keep rerunning the same ad, you shouldn't have to keep making the same ad.
That's important. And then where do you go to edit? Like if I want to add the MLS number, I didn't add the MLS number to my ad that's currently running right now.
Yeah, so just looking at this, I don't have an ad to show you, but you would go to your programs. So that's here, you go to programs, you have your list. And then you're going to click on that ad and you do edit program.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, so it looks like you can change all that info there. Let's see what else it shows.
And I don't know if I just didn't see it, but when you create an ad, I've realized that you can't name it. Like you can name it after when you click edit, but when you're creating it, there's no way for you to name it. So if you're doing a listing program, multiple ones, they're all the same names.
Just
Yeah, I see that. It's like an ID of like a bunch of letters or numbers.
Yeah, it's like multi-listing and then number. And then, oh my gosh, I noticed it. Go over by order summary.
Oh, right here, program name.
I couldn't see it until someone else did it. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so you can change it there. I know in the other ads, so the traffic ads, it's actually a field where you can choose the name. So right after the billing information, there's a field for program name when you're going through those ones.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was getting very confused because they were all named the same thing. And then when they came in, the agents didn't know which was what because they were all the same name. So
Right. Yeah, so if I click on, I'll do one of these very quickly. So I'll do attract sellers. Just to show you the difference if you're not doing a lead form or a listing. You have your Facebook page, you have your targeting, so where you want that to run. So I'll do Halifax. One nice thing here is you can still target your database. I thought that this went away, but you can target your own database with the non-lead gen form ads. What this requires is that it's not always going to be the most efficient. The email in your database has to match the email they use to log into Facebook. That's not always going to be the case. Like my email's still like my middle school Hotmail I made 15 years ago. So I don't use that email. It's probably not in anyone's database, so it's not really going to target me all that well. But it is nice because a lot of times, if you've already generated leads from Facebook, when they fill out that form, it's going to populate the email that's on their Facebook. And so if that's the email they submit, that's the email you have in your database. And so it would retarget them. So if you think of it more from that perspective, not really your friends and family that are in your database, but previous leads. That's where that's going to come in. And you would choose a specific tag that's on those people. That's getting a little more into the nitty-gritty, but just so you know that that's an option. With these ones, you can also do an image or a video. So if you have a specific video, this is really nice for like personal branding. If it's just a brand awareness ad, you might have a video where you're, walking and talking and introducing yourself. You could use that as the ad itself. Okay, or you can do an image. When you do it, it's going to generate a random caption. This. If you're not on a team, you might say, I'm here to help instead of our team is here to help. You can't use the AI on this for some reason. I think because the AI is using all the listing information, there's nothing for it to pull from here. So it's just, you got to think of it. ChatGPT is fun for that though. Destination URL, you still have to send them somewhere. So it might be, are you looking to buy a house? If this was attract buyers, check out all the listings on my website, and you just put your website link so they can go search the MLS. That's a really easy ad to run from here. So you would just put your website link, and it's not going to generate a lead. You're not going to get a lead if someone clicks on it, but it's sending them to your website, which hopefully they'll sign up or they'll click on a listing and you'll still get some information from them. And then the compliance. So that's the part we talked about before. Of course, there's no MLS number to put in if there's no listing. Oh, I don't have to care. Load a photo. What that is. There we go. There's just a random photo on my thing. So you'd add your photo, do all that, proceed to the last step. Maybe it's not here. I swear there was one that had the name at the bottom. So yeah, the name's always going to be on the side, regardless of the type of ad. Yeah. Any questions about publishing ads? Any of that in general? Okay. Now know where to find your ads, which is on the side here. So once you started running them, depending on what you chose as the type of ad, it will show up there. But also if I go back to campaigns on the command side, there's direct links. So you can click on, what's up? You have your managed paid ad campaigns. And so you have direct links to that. So if you know you just did a listing ad and you want to see that, you can click listing ads. It's still going to send you back to that same page, but it's just a direct link from command. Lastly, if you had ran ads before, on this paid ads tab, you are going to still see all of your old ads. So you have your legacy paid ad campaigns. So you still have access to all of your metrics and all of like the links to the leads specifically for previous ads that you've ran. Okay. Can't do anything with them. You can't duplicate them. You can't look at anything besides the leads that you have. We also have some videos. So this setup for success, Facebook and Instagram paid ads is that very beginning portion that I did. So adding your billing information, connecting your Facebook. It's going to go a little bit more in depth on what's going to cause those errors. So that's the video that I've been leveraging and that I will send you, but you can see it right here. And then explore paid ad types is just exactly what this training was, but condensed into 12 minutes. So it goes through all the different types of ads and what they are and how to run each one of them. So those resources are here, as well as this video. It's just more of strategy behind online lead generation. You also have some helpful links up here, like your account settings, managing your channels, and learn more, which I think just goes to answers. Answers.kw.com, which has all of these step-by-step guides for the different things you're going to do. So you have how to edit an ad, how to view your results, how to connect your Facebook account, add your credit card, how to create every single one of those different types of ads, how to cancel an ad, and then talk about Google search ads as well. So just know that that is there. When you click learn more, you'll have all the step-by-step guides. Right. Any questions at all?
Just a quick comment, Jess.
Yeah.
Before you go, this was awesome. This makes 200% more sense than it did when I logged into the training the other day. Like it actually makes sense now. It's not, you didn't speed through, you covered things, you explained things, and you gave time for us to actually absorb and ask. So it was awesome.
Good. Yeah, I took that session as well. I found it was more geared towards if you were really experienced with the previous experience. It was more just telling you what all the differences were and not how to use it from step one. So that's more what I wanted to do today. So that if you've never touched it before, it still makes sense. And if you have done it before, it's always good to have a refresher on the different processes and things like that as well. Thanks.
That was awesome. Trevor had a question in the chat.
Oh, where's my chat here? We do have. So yes, you should be able to link it to the team page. But like Melissa said, like you may need to, like if Allison is the one who created the page, you may need to be with her and have her log into her Facebook and connect to the team page that way. Or have her log into your command and connect it.
So for me, because there is a team section, Angela could do it on her side in the team section, and then when I logged into my command, it was there when she did it. So
okay,
You just have to get them to do it in the team, because if you have a team account, you'll have two people at the top that you can be, personal or the team. So you just have to get her to do it in the team. And then when you go in yourself, it will already be there.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
It's fun. We're all learning it at the same time. So
Thanks, Jess. Huge help. Appreciate it. Lots of great nuggets in there and lots of differences, even when you have to, when you stop, that there is a charge, and I can understand that versus maybe editing it or something. And you could maybe do that as well, depending if it's a listing or not. And it's just saving them time on their end, I guess, with the people stopping versus editing or whatever.
exactly.
Hopefully,
And for the most part, if you're stopping an ad, it's likely because the house sold. So Sherry said shorter ads,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
If you're testing out different ad strategies, shorter ads. Because, halfway through, if you do a month-long ad, you might decide, it's not working. Obviously, you want to give yourself some time for it to work. But yeah, hopefully for the most part, you can edit an ad instead of canceling. But if you do need to cancel, or you anticipate you may need to cancel, do them a little bit shorter.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Jess. That was great. It was really
Yeah, it
helpful.
really was. Yeah, brilliant.
Have a great day, everyone.
You too.
You too, Janice.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jessica.
Yeah,
Alright.
thanks, Jess. We're gonna have to be rewatching all of these when you go on mat leave. Just so
Yes, this was recorded, so you'll have it. All right.
Thank you.
Michelle, if you want to stay on, I can take a look at
Sure. That'd be great.
why we can't find that ad for that listing.
Perfect.
Thanks,
I can probably
Jess.
talk them cool.
Bye. All right. So
It's just coming up that I don't have